Since 2020, I have been very vocal about my love for Tomodachi life. I've streamed the game, I've made multiple videos about it, and every time there's a Nintendo Direct, I get on the floor so I can kiss at Nintendo's feet like I always do, in hopes that it would make them acknowledge this franchise. And you know what? 99% of the time, they just ignore me. They even made a damn Miitopia port before they even thought to bring this game back. And in all honesty, at the beginning of this year, I gave up on begging for a new Tomodachi Life game. I spent so many years wasting my life begging for this game, so I thought to myself, you know what? The Switch 1 era is over anyways, and if they were going to announce a new game for this console, they would have done it already. But then Nintendo decided to pull this out of nowhere. It has been over a month since this game was announced, and I still cannot believe that it's real. When the trailer first started, I honestly thought that it was Animal Crossing related, since it was on a beach and it had that New Horizons aesthetic to it. But then I saw my babies. This game looks so good, and I am so ready to have it inside me in 2026, but before we can even think about living the dream, I want to revisit Tomodachi Life on the 3DS one last time, since I have a lot to talk about. Now, if you're an OG viewer, you may know that I was slightly late to the Tomodachi Life bandwagon, since this game was released here in the US on June 6th of 2014, but I wouldn't get the game until 2016 when the Nintendo Select version of it came out. By the way, I mention this a lot, but I will forever cherish the Nintendo Select program, since there are so many amazing games that I got the chance to play for the first time, thanks to the cheaper price tag that the Select program offered, including Tomodachi Life. As for why I didn't get Tomodachi Life any earlier, I just never found the game to be that interesting. If the game I was playing didn't have Italians, men wearing green spandex, extreme animal cruelty, war crimes, or the ability to give people CTE, then I didn't really want to play it. For a matter of fact, Tomodachi Life was actually very low on my list of games that I wanted to play as a kid, since I had no love for social simulators at the time. I just thought that they were boring and pointless and a waste of time. But oh my, Baby LaiyenZ was such a stupid idiot. I truly did not know what I was missing out on when it came to social simulation games, until I started watching Dan TDM's playthrough of Tomodachi Life and realized, wait a second, this game looks kind of cool. I'm being so serious when I say this, but if it wasn't for the YouTube videos and Let's Plays that I binge watched as a kid, I would probably be the most vanilla, generic, boring gamer of all time, since all the video games I would be playing right now would probably be Madden and Call of Duty. So thank you, Dan TDM, for saving me. I spent so many hours watching his playthrough throughout the summer of 2016, and after a ton of contemplating and procrastinating, I finally decided to get my butt off the couch and make my way to Walmart so I could buy this game. I still remember the day I got this game like it was yesterday, since I used some of my birthday money from a couple months prior to buy it, and right after picking it up, I spent the entire car ride home reading the back of the case and imagining all the me's I was about to create. And speaking of making me's, I can easily admit that outside of the YouTube videos I was watching, another reason why I wanted to buy this game so badly was because of the character customization. I have always had an obsession with character customization, to the point that I can sink more hours into creating a character than I spend playing the actual game. I think the main reason why I love character customization so much is, first of all, because I grew up playing on the Wii like many of us did, so I would constantly be creating new Miis for my friends and family. Funny enough, to this day, I still add new Miis to the Mii Plaza on my original childhood Wii, but since there's a limit of 100 Miis for the Mii Plaza, I have sacrificed a lot of people over the years. In addition to the Mii Plaza, I have always enjoyed designing characters in the different Elder Scrolls games, and growing up I had a tendency to add a bunch of custom characters into the sports games I was playing, so based on these facts, I think it's pretty obvious that Mii creation was a major selling point to me. Once I got home from Walmart after picking up Tomodachi Life, I immediately ripped the game out of its plastic seal, popped it in my 3DS, and oh my... The first couple hours I had with this game went exactly as most of you would expect. I spent around 3.5 hours deciding what my island's name was gonna be, and what my Mii was going to look like, and then after that, I went crazy adding a bunch of new people. I was adding my friends, I was adding my family, I was adding random anime characters, and of course, I added Zero Suit Samus. Now when it came to my personal Mii, I regret to inform you all that I settled for a pretty boring design, partly because... well, I am a pretty boring looking person. Back to my first playthrough, once my Mii and all the other Miis I wanted to create were completed, I spent every living moment watching over them. I genuinely treated my first playthrough of this game like it was a life or death situation, since to me, if I wasn't checking up on my Miis every couple of minutes, then I was going to hell. I would bring my 3DS to school, my friend's house, long car rides, anywhere you could think of. I probably brought my 3DS so I could play this game. Now, one predicament that I found myself in when I was younger was the fact that I didn't know how to beat this game. You see, I was so used to games either being online multiplayer or plot-driven with a concrete ending, so a game like Tomodachi Life, which didn't necessarily have an end, really threw me off. I did a ton of research to figure out how the hell I was supposed to end the game, and I learned that to get the end credits, you needed to get married, have a kid, and then the kid had to grow up so you could get the family album credits. When I learned about this fact, I made it my life's mission to marry Zero Suit Samus in Tomodachi Life. But I didn't actually end up marrying her. In the end, I actually married some random character that was on my island, but that didn't take away from the fact that I was able to get the end credits to roll, and during these end credits, I felt such a sense of contentment and joy. The reason being was because I spent so much time playing the game, so to see it come to a quote-unquote end was pretty emotional for 13-year-old LaiyenZ, and once the credits finally finished, I actually went on a tiny break from playing this game. The main reason for the break was because I had been checking in on this game non-stop for months, so I did feel a little bit burnt out, but after a while, I did return to Tomodachi Life, and ever since then, I have made it a yearly tradition to start a new playthrough. Now, you may be wondering, LaiyenZ, how can you replay a game like Tomodachi Life so often? Don't you get bored? Well, no, actually I never get bored of playing Tomodachi Life, and the main reason is that each playthrough is always so unique. On the surface, you may think that Tomodachi Life is just a basic life simulator with Miis, but that is not the case whatsoever, since there are so many things that you can do and so many things that you can experience all in this game about funny Miis. For example, one of the core features in this game are the Mii personalities, and as I already mentioned, I am a huge fan of character customization, so having the ability to sculpt these little guys' brains from the ground up allowed me to create some of the quirkiest individuals known to man. Every time I would start a new playthrough of this game, I took the personalities of my Miis very seriously. I would spend countless hours researching which personalities go best with one another, and which ones act a certain way, and which one would make Zero Suit Samus acknowledge me. Overall, the personality feature in this game added that extra layer of depth to each one of my playthroughs, and ensured that no two playthroughs would be the exact same. I also loved how the personality types affected the little nuances in each me. For example, different personalities walked a different way and expressed themselves differently in conversation. Another feature that I have always loved when it came to Tomodachi life are the different events and cutscenes that happen throughout the game. There are so many examples that I could talk about since this game has an almost endless amount of hilarious content, such as the different me dreams, and then of course there are the iconic me concerts that you have all probably seen before. For those of you who are not familiar, in summary, these me concerts were a feature that allowed your me's to sing different songs in the concert hall. There were a variety of different song types you could choose from, ranging from metal all the way to opera, and then also there were some default songs that were made available. But let's be honest here, none of us really cared about the default songs because most of the fun came from adding your own lyrics. For example, whenever I was playing this game, all I would do is write random lyrics from my favorite songs just to hear what they would sound like from a me performing it in techno. Now, another feature that I have to talk about, since this wouldn't be a LaiyenZ video if I didn't mention it at least once, is Street Pass. When you turn on the Street Pass functionality in your 3DS, it gives you the ability to send your me in Tomodachi life to other people's islands, and then you can also have visitors come to your island through the port. These visitors would bring imported items, and even camp out the night on your island. In my opinion, this has to be one of, if not the best uses of Street Pass, since it's always so fun to see the new people come and visit your island, and it was especially cool since the visitors would sometimes bring me items that I didn't have yet. Now sadly, I will admit that I didn't use Street Pass immediately when I got this game, since I was kind of late to the Street Pass party as well, but once I turned it on and visited different conventions and the C&D Switch line, I got a whole bunch of new visitors. Honestly, there are so many features and events in this game that I love, to the point that I can't even talk about them all in one video. I don't know why, but even the little things like the chat sessions, the barbecues, the rap battles, and of course the mini games at the amusement park all made my daily experience with this game growing up so interesting. To this day, I still find myself discovering new me dreams, interactions, and funny dialogue, and that's part of the reason why I always pick this game back up. Alright, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like and subscribe so this number can become very large and I can become a better person. Since as we all know, the bigger the number, the better the person. Also, don't forget to check out some of my past videos. I think you will really enjoy them. And finally, once again, make sure to subscribe. Alright, thank you all again for watching, and I'll see you all eventually.